Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Gloomy, cloudy, yet very mild winter day here in Long Island, New York. Today is the perfect day to start sowing our cool, weather-loving crops inside, indoors, in our seed starting trays. With the winter season almost halfway over and the spring season just around the corner, now, beginning of January is the perfect time to sow our cool, weather-loving crops inside, indoors, in our seed starting trays. To have them sprout and grow just in time for transplanting come late winter, early spring seasons. And in today's video, I'm going to give you easy, yet proven, step-by-step instructions on how you can sow and grow your own vegetables, herbs, as well as flowers from seed inside, indoors, in your seed starting tray. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content of my gardening videos and you want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new gardening video, click the bell icon as well. You will get notifications every time I'll release a new garden video. Now come with me. Let's get gardening. First things first, guys, many of you might be wondering and asking, why should I grow my vegetables, my herbs, my flowers from seed versus a seedling or a mature transplant, which you can buy come spring season at any nursery or a garden center? I don't know how many of you guys have been recently to a nursery or a garden center or even a big box plant store, but one single tiny scrawny looking seedling or transplant can cost as much as $6, $8, or even $10 versus a packet of seeds that costs as little as $1.78 or even less, depending on the brand as well as the variety of seeds. And guess what, guys? Each packet comes with 50 to 100 seeds. So imagine spending $6 on one transplant versus spending that money on a packet of seeds, making your own seed starting mix. And by doing that, you're saving money even there. And you can have as many as 50, 100, or even 300 seed transplants for that same amount of money that you would pay for one single seedling in your local garden center. Now, you guys might be wondering which seeds or which plants would do best being planted inside, indoors first, prior to being transplanted. Well, any seed or any plant that would not do well or do good being directly sown into the soil of your home garden, whether it's in a raised garden bed or directly in the ground. Let me give you an example of one. Our onions, our shallots, our leeks, even the bunching onions. Why? Because the seeds are so small and they do have a lower germination rate. So by planting them directly into the soil of your home garden, not are you only risking having empty spots scattered throughout, you're also risking the rain or the snow washing all those seeds out. Plus, onions, shallots, bunching onions will be totally fine. In fact, they enjoy being transplanted out. And by starting them first inside, indoors, in seed starting trays, you can control the germination rate. You could see what came up, what did not come up, and you have an easier, better time thinning out your seedlings. So let me give you an example of a crop that would not do so well being planted inside, indoors first. Carrots. Why? Because carrots, as well as beets, as well as radish, do not tolerate being transplanted. Those guys, those root veggies have to be sown directly into the soil of your home garden. You will compromise the entire vegetable if you attempt to start it inside, indoors first, and then transplant. So those guys are not good candidates for being started inside, indoors, in seed starting trays first. Now, come with me inside into my home, where I'll show you exactly how I sow my vegetable, herb, as well as flower seeds inside seed starting trays. Another reason to sow your vegetables from seed inside, indoors, in seed starting trays is if you have a vegetable or a crop that could benefit from that jump start due to climate changes, due to Mother Nature. Great example of some of those crops are our brassicas, which is exactly what I will be sowing today in my seed starting trays. So the cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, any of these brassicas are very, very finicky crops. They do not tolerate frost or freezing temperatures, yet they don't thrive, they don't grow well in warm temperatures either. If temperatures start to exceed 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equivalent to 15 degrees Celsius, our brassicas, especially our cauliflower and our broccoli, will start to bolt on us and go to seed. So you're better off starting them now in the beginning of January, inside, indoors, in seed starting trays, so they can germinate, grow, and get large enough just in time for transplant in the late winter, early spring seasons. So now, when it comes to warm weather-loving crops, such as our tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, zucchini, cucumbers, many of you might be wondering, can those crops benefit from being sown inside, indoors, in seed starting trays first prior to being transplanted? The answer to that question is yes, absolutely. They can benefit, and in fact, they do benefit from being sown in seed starting trays first. Why? Because if you sow them directly into your home garden, if you wait till those freezing temps are over, till the temperatures warm up significantly, because remember, those crops, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, etc., love warm temperatures and warm soil, anywhere 80 degrees Fahrenheit or above. So if you wait till that time of the year where the temperatures go above 80 degrees consistently and sow directly into the ground, by the time you're ready to harvest those crops, it'll be way too late into the fall season. So if you start those warm crops inside, indoors, in seed starting trays as well, you'll have perfectly sized transplants, mature transplants, just in time for you to sow them, to plant them into your home garden. Now that you understand what you should sow now, let me show you exactly what supplies, materials you will need so you can have maximal germination and growth success of your crops. First and foremost, of course, you're going to need the seeds which you will be sowing. Today, I will be sowing my brassicas. So I will be sowing the Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, two varieties of cabbage, the green and the purple, as well as a broccoli. Now, you're going to need a seed starting tray, regardless of the kind of the variety, whatever you have left over from previous sowing seasons. You can have a plastic one like this one over here. Just make sure it comes with this bottom tray as well. You're going to need it. You can have larger cells like this one. For example, you could see that this one is significantly larger. Or you can even use these trays, which are by Jiffy brand. They're made out of peat. And what's great about these is that once your seeds germinate and grow, you don't have to take your seedlings out of the seed starting trays. This one will decompose by itself inside the soil of your home garden. So you can plant your mature seedling inside the seed starting tray directly into the soil of your home garden. For those of you who are not familiar with these Jiffy trays, P trays, I will link them in the comment section below. What else are you going to need? You're going to need a clear cover, also known as a dome. This cover you're going to use to cover your seed starting tray once you place the seeds inside, and you're going to leave your tray covered until you're going to see that germination. This cover or the dome helps create that needed, that necessary humidity level inside your seed starting trays, inside those cells. What else are you going to need? You're going to need a seed starting mix. There are various varieties of seed starting mix. This is just one example. This is by Miracle-Gro. It is widely available online in big box stores. Here is another example. This one is an organic seed starting mix. This one is by Jiffy. It's also widely available. I will link both of them in the comments section below. Now, if you want to save yourself a few dollars, you can even make your own seed starting mix. Very easy. 2 to 3 parts of peat moss or coco-coir and 1 part vermiculite. So 2 to 3 parts coco-coir or peat moss and only 1 part of vermiculite. What does vermiculite help with? It helps with excess moisture. It alleviates that extra moisture that seedlings don't need. Otherwise, they will get root rot from the get-go and will disintegrate on you. Now, a few more things you're going to need. You're going to need water, tap water. You're going to need labels. I like to use these plastic labels that you also can get at any garden store or even online. You're going to need a gardening marker. So gardening markers are oil-based versus water-based. So they stay intact longer. So your labels will stay intact much longer and will withstand rain or snow or sleet versus any regular water-based marker which you will use. And today I'm going to use a chopstick. Any old chopstick you have laying around. You can even use a skewer, a wooden skewer, or a toothpick. And in a few minutes, I will show you exactly why you're going to need this. So this is all you're going to need for maximal germination and growing success of your crop when you're starting them inside, indoors, from seed. So today I will be sowing my brassicas using this plastic seed starting tray. You can see all the cells over here, the rows of cells. Make sure that whatever seed starting tray you're using, it will have drainage holes on the bottom. Again, that's very important, that's crucial. If you want maximal germination success and maximal growing success of your seedlings. Because of the drainage holes, you will need a bottom tray, a plastic bottom tray of some sort, because you do not want all that excess moisture to just run out and make a mess in your home. So I have the 2 over here. So now there are 2 ways you can do this. You can either, I will be using the Jiffy Organic seed starting mix today. So now you can either place it directly inside the seed starting cells, and I want to show you how loose, how airy this seed starting mix is. And there's a reason for that, guys, because our seedlings need maximal aeration. They want that potting mix to be loose and airy and well drained. So now you can either place it directly into your seed starting cells and water after to moisten it, or you can place your seed starting mix in a bowl or a container of some sort, like so, and add some tap water to moisten it. So now, because this is so dry and so airy, and has never been watered before. It is going to be hydrolyphic, meaning the first amount of water you're going to try to add to it, and let me show you. It's going to try to reject that water. Can you see all the water building up? You could see that it's not absorbing right away. Why? Because the first time you're adding water to any seed starting mix, it's going to take anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes for your seed starting mix to start absorbing that water. So you might have to wait. Or if you moisten it inside a bowl, you can kind of expedite that process. How? By using your hand and mixing it with the water. This way, you can also control the moisture level. You do not want this seed starting mix to be too wet. You do not want to see any water running out of it. It has to be moderately moist, and moderately is the key word here. So I'm going to do both ways just to show you. So one way is I'm going to mix it with the water over here, and you could see already it's starting to mix, but very, very slowly, guys. Again, it might take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. You could see that now it's starting to become moist. Again, add water accordingly. You see you need more, you add more. There you go, guys. Now it's starting to get moist. This is what you want to be seeing. Perfect. Like that. So now let's go back to our seed starting trays. What do you do if you decide to just directly add the seed starting mix to the cells of your seed starting trays? You keep adding, because you know why? You're going to compress the seed starting mix a little bit once we're done filling the cells. By compressing, I don't mean, roughly pushing it down. I mean gently tapping on it, because we're only going to need about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of spacing on top. The seeds which we're sowing today, all of them, so our brassica seeds, only have to be sown no more than 1/2 inch below that soil surface. You do not want to plant them too deep, because then you're going to have low germination rate as well. And every seed packet always has very clear sowing and growing instructions on the back. So I always recommend that you guys check out those instructions before you start sowing your seeds at home. So now, if you're adding directly to the cells of your seed starting tray, you want to make sure you fill it up pretty much to the top, every single cell, like this. Then you're going to use your fingers to gently swipe any excess seed starting mix off, like so. So how do we get that 1/4 to 1/2 inch of depth? We use our fingers and we gently try to push it down, compact it. You do not want to push it down too firmly, because again, we do not want to make our seed starting mix too compact, like so. Just enough to give us that 1/4 to 1/2 inch of spacing on top. Gentle. Remember, it's a very delicate, soft mix, so it's going to work with you guys. It's not going to give you a hard time. So what is the next step? Once you're done pushing down your seed starting mix a bit, you're going to add water. I like to use room temperature tap water. You pour it directly onto the top. You see what I meant about the soil, guys? The water. You see how it stays on top first, the moisture? It doesn't get absorbed right away. Why? Because this seed starting mix, any seed starting mix, is going to take some time for it to absorb that initial amount of water or moisture that you're giving it. It can take anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes, but you will see that it will get absorbed. So now, this is the method you're going with, the route. You must leave the seed starting tray where it's at until all that moisture which you just poured gets absorbed, and it will. Don't worry guys, don't get scared. In the meantime, what should you do? You should use your gardening marker, again, oil-based gardening marker, and make your labels. Since I'm planting 5 crops today, 5 brassicas in rows, I'm going to need 5 plastic labels. It's been roughly 10 minutes, guys, and I wanted to give you an update. So here is the bowl where I hand mixed room temperature tap water with our Jiffy Organic seed starting mix. You could see that all the moisture has incorporated very well. There's no excess moisture. You do not see anything dripping out. In fact, this is the perfect composition that you're looking to achieve. Just an adequate, moderate amount of moisture with nothing running down your fingers, nothing dripping down. This is exactly what you want to get. Here's our seed starting tray. And it's been, again, over 10 minutes. And you could see that the water is still sitting on the top surface. It has not fully incorporated just yet. Again, that is absolutely normal and absolutely fine, because seed starting mix is always hydrophobic, meaning it takes its precious time allowing that first amount of moisture in. Once that first amount of moisture gets absorbed, you're going to have no issues going forward when watering your seed starting tray. While you're waiting for your seed starting mix to absorb that moisture, you can either go on about your regular routine, your day, or you can use this time to create our labels. Again, because there are various ways how you can pre-fill your seed starting trays, the cells, with seed starting mix, as well as various ways how you can moisten your seed starting mix. Today I wanted to show you both ways and let you decide which one of these 2 methods works best for you, which one you find more easier, more comfortable for you, because you want this sowing process, this gardening process to be joyful and exciting. It shouldn't feel like tedious labor to anybody. So because I am planting 5 brassicas today in this seed starting tray, I have my first 3 rolls pre-filled with dry seed starting mix, and we poured the water directly on top with you guys. And now I'm still waiting for the remainder of the moisture to get absorbed. So the remaining 2 rows, I'm going to pre-fill with the seed starting mix, which I hand moistened in this bowl. You could see it's perfect moisture content. Super easy to do, guys. It's basically the same process. We want to fill these cells pretty much to the top, and then when we're done, we're going to push it down just a little bit. Again, about half to quarter of an inch. Whatever excess seed starting mix we might get, something that fell over, something that's still sitting on top, of course, we're going to clean that up and salvage it. We never want to waste any products. We want to be resourceful. We want to be economic. So the process is essentially the same. You just have to decide for yourself which of these 2 methods work best for you. Now that we have our labels clearly marked and ready, we're going to position them inside our seed starting tray inside the cells. Because as our seedlings will start to germinate and grow, I promise you guys, they're going to look almost exactly identical. So you want to know which row belongs to what crop. Now, in the beginning of the video, I promised to let you know why I'll be using either a chopstick or a wooden toothpick or even a wooden skewer. Because it is so much easier to pick up our seeds using these tools versus by fingers. And let me show you why. Have you guys seen how tiny some of these seeds are? For example, this is my Brussels sprout, the Catskill variety. Let me show you over here just how tiny these seeds are. I wouldn't want you to sit here and use your fingertip and put seed by seed using your fingertip. This would be a very lengthy, tedious process. Instead, we want to dip a toothpick into a bowl of water, and you want to use this to lift up our seeds. Wasn't that so much easier? Now, we're going to place 2 seeds per cell. We're going to place one on one end of the cell right over there. We repeat the process by dipping the Q-tip, the toothpick, I apologize, once again. And we're going to place the next seed on the opposite corner of your seed tray, like so. So why am I placing 2 seeds versus 1? Because our seeds never have perfect 100% germination rate. If anything, majority of the seeds have less than 80% germination rate. So by placing multiple seeds in one cell, we are upping that germination success. But you don't want to put too many, because once they sprout, you're going to have to thin out those seedlings. So the more seeds sprout, the more seedlings you will have to thin out, because at the end, you only want one healthy seedling per cell. I'm going to show you guys one more time how I sow my seeds inside indoors in seed starting trays. I'm going to use a toothpick. You can use a chopstick of any sort. We dip the tip of it so it's moist enough into tap water. And then we use this wet tip to grab on to our seeds. And then you place 2 seeds per cell. There is one on one side. We do not want to place them too close to each other. Here is another one. I'm going to place it on the opposite corner of my cell, like so. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with every single cell. And I'll show you what the next step will be. I am done placing all of my seeds inside the seed starting tray cells. So what is the next step after you've positioned your seeds? It's to backfill that top 1/4 to 1/2 inch. So now let's go back to the first method. So our first 3 rows over here. Remember where we placed an absolute dry seed starting mix inside and then added the tap water? So now we're going to backfill once again with absolutely dry seed starting mix. You don't need that much. Again, just to cover the top layer, the top portion of your cell. You use your fingers to gently spread it all out evenly. You do not want to push into the cells now, because you will end up dislocating the seeds, moving them around, and you want them to stay in that perfect position exactly where you placed them a few minutes ago. Sprinkle, again, smooth it out, position it. That is absolutely perfect, guys. So now what is the next step when it comes to these 3 cells? Once again, we're going to use room temperature water, and we're going to moisten the upper layer as well. Remember, guys, what we said earlier, it might take a few minutes for the moisture to get absorbed into your seed starting mix, and it's okay. Now, we're going to wait for this side to absorb all the moisture, and let me show you what we're going to do with the other 2 rows. Remember, these 2 rows were filled with pre-moistened seed starting mix, which I moistened myself by hand in this bowl. So we're also going to backfill the rest of these cells. The same concept, not too much. We don't want to bury our seeds too deep. So with these 2 rows, it's gonna be a bit easier as the soil is already, the seed starting mix is already pre-moistened. So it will not require any excess moisture today, not just yet. This is absolutely perfect, guys. Again, any mess we make, of course, we clean it up. And look, guys, I had the perfect amount of pre-moistened seed starting mix. So what is the next step here? Let me show you. Majority of our seeds are not expensive at all, guys, which is exactly why we all should be growing our crops from seed. However, if you do choose some rare hybrid variety of a crop and where the seeds are on the more expensive side, then you can place 1 seed per cell and alternate, placing 2 seeds every other cell, so you can save yourself some money so you don't have to buy additional seed packets. What is that next step that I promised to tell you about? It's to use this clear cover, also known as a dome, and we place it right over our seed starting tray like this. You want it to be nice and tight. So now the job of this cover or dome is to create that level of humidity inside the seed starting tray so our seeds can start germinating and growing. You never want to allow the soil, the seed starting mix, to completely dry out. Keep an eye on it. Lift up this dome every few days and make sure that your seed starting mix is still on the moist side and water accordingly. Do not overwater, guys. You're better off underwatering than overwatering. What's going to happen is your seedlings, they're babies, they're tiny, tiny little plants. They're going to end up getting root rot. They're going to die out and disintegrate on you before they even start to grow. So never ever overwater your baby seedlings. I am now in my green room, guys, where I will be positioning my seed starting tray. Just a quick tip, guys. I only planted brassicas today, so same crop family. If you are going to be sowing various crops within 1 seed starting tray, make sure that the crops which you will be placing your seed starting trays have the same germination requirements. When I'm saying that, I mean temperature requirements. For example, brassicas need at least 73 degrees Fahrenheit for perfect 100% germination. They can germinate in temperatures as low as 40 degrees as well, but your germination rate will not be as good and your seedlings will not be as strong. Another great companion to brassicas is parsley. Parsley has exactly the same temperature when it comes to germination requirements. Parsley germinates at around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're trying to grow peppers, hot peppers, sweet peppers, those require much higher germination temperatures, 85 degrees Fahrenheit and above. So they would not be good companions to our brassicas. So now, where am I going to be placing my seed starting tray? As it can take anywhere between 7 to 12 days to see any germination take place. I'm going to place it right here behind me. You could see I have my rack. I'm going to leave my seed starting tray covered with the dome. And I'm going to leave it here and check on it every few days to make sure that that soil, that seed starting mix is still moist. Now, once you see any germination, what do you need to do? You need to remove this clear dome, as in completely remove it. You want to give your seedlings that space and that room to go straight up. By keeping the dome on, you're going to cripple your seedlings. They're not going to be able to grow straight and strong. So now, say you place your seed starting tray in a room where there's no stable warm temperature. Say the temperature dips anywhere into the 50s or even the 60s. You guys might need to invest in a heating mat, specifically created for seed germination. I'm going to link one below in the comment section. They're widely available in garden centers as well as online. So say your seeds have germinated, you remove that clear dome. What do you need to do with your seed starting tray? You need to move it to an area with as much direct, bright sunlight as you can possibly find in your home. Near a window, near a patio door. Say you don't have that window with bright, direct sunlight. You will need to invest in a grow light. This grow light is specifically for plants, more specifically for seed germination. These are not expensive at all, guys. They're widely available in even big box stores as well. Lowe's Garden Center carries it. Home Depot Garden Center carries it. Amazon carries it. I got mine on Amazon and it was less than $20 and I use it on a regular basis. You're going to place your seed starting tray directly below your grow light. You need your seedlings to be exposed to as much light, bright light as possible. Otherwise, you're going to get seedlings with thin, draggy legs, draggy stems. If you see weak seedlings with draggy legs, droopy legs, say they're not straight, they're leaning somewhere sideways. What does that mean? That means the area where you're keeping your seed starting tray does not get enough sunlight and you need to relocate your tray ASAP, either to a sunnier location or under a grow light, and you will see that your seedlings will grow much, much better. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining here in my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, I gave you easy yet proven step-by-step instructions how you can sow and grow your own herbs, veggies, as well as flowers from seed. If you follow my easy yet proven gardening instructions, I guarantee you're going to have maximal germination as well as maximum growing success of your crops in your own home garden. If you enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, informative, or helpful, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comment section as well. Let me know, have you sown any crops from seed just yet? If so, what have you sown? What are you planning to grow in your own home garden this coming gardening season? For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, what are you waiting for, guys? Do so today. Super easy for you, yet super pleasing and rewarding to me. It's super easy. Click the subscribe button below. Click the bell icon as well if you want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I upload a new garden video. Be healthy, be happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys, and I'll see you again in my new upcoming garden video. Bye, guys.